Welcome, dear listeners, to today's episode of our historical journey as we delve into the fascinating tale of the history of Istanbul, from Byzantium to the Ottoman Empire. This ancient city, situated on the Bosphorus Strait, has been a crossroads of cultures for millennia, and its story is one of intrigue, conquest, and transformation. As we begin our exploration, let us set the stage for the earliest history of this magnificent metropolis. In the 7th century BCE, the Greeks established the city of Byzantium on the western bank of the Bosphorus, where the Sea of Marmara meets the Black Sea. This strategic location allowed the city to control the flow of trade between Europe and Asia, making it a prized possession for various empires throughout history. The city's founder, Byzantium, is said to have been inspired by the oracle of Apollo to settle on this site, which was already inhabited by the Thracians. As we imagine the early Byzantium, we see a bustling port city with ships from all over the Mediterranean anchoring in its harbor, and merchants haggling over goods such as grain, wine, and olive oil. As the centuries passed, Byzantium became an important center of trade and commerce, attracting the attention of the Romans, who eventually conquered the city in 73 BCE. Under Roman rule, Byzantium flourished with the construction of impressive buildings, roads, and aqueducts. The city's proximity to the imperial capital, Rome, made it a hub for the exchange of ideas, cultures, and technologies. We can almost hear the sound of hammers ringing out against the stone as the Romans built their famous walls, which would later become the foundation of the Byzantine fortifications. One of the most significant events in the early history of Byzantium occurred in 324 CE, when the Roman Emperor Constantine I, also known as Constantine the Great, decided to establish a new capital on the site of the old city. He renamed it Constantinople, and it would become the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire. This marked the beginning of a new era for the city, as it became the center of Christianity in the East, with the construction of magnificent churches, such as the Hagia Sophia, which would later become one of the most iconic landmarks of Istanbul. Join us next as we explore the primary events and figures that shaped the destiny of this incredible city, from the heights of imperial power. Welcome back to our historical journey, dear listeners, as we continue to explore the fascinating tale of the history of Istanbul, from Byzantium to the Ottoman Empire. As we delve into this era, we find ourselves in the 15th century, with the Ottoman Turks having conquered Constantinople in 1453, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire. The city was transformed by the Ottomans, who renamed it Istanbul and set about rebuilding and expanding its infrastructure. The Sultan, Mehmed II, also known as Mehmed the Conqueror, was determined to make Istanbul the center of his empire, and he invested heavily in its development, constructing grand mosques, palaces, and bazaars. One of the most iconic landmarks of Istanbul, the Topkapi Palace, was built during this period, serving as the primary residence of the Sultan and the administrative center of the empire. The palace was a symbol of Ottoman power and wealth, with its opulent decorations, intricate tilework, and beautifully manicured gardens. As we imagine ourselves walking through the palace, we can almost hear the sound of the Sultan's advisors and courtiers hurrying to attend to their duties, while the scent of exotic spices and perfumes wafts through the air. The Ottoman Empire was a melting pot of cultures, with people from all over the world coming to Istanbul to trade, learn, and seek their fortunes. The city was a hub of intellectual and artistic activity, with scholars, poets, and musicians gathering in its coffeehouses and madrasas to discuss the latest ideas and trends. As the Ottoman historian Evliya Çelebi once said, "Istanbul is a city that has no equal in the world, for it is the center of the universe, the meeting point of all nations, and the crossroads of all cultures." During this period, Istanbul became a major center of trade and commerce, with merchants from all over Europe, Asia, and Africa coming to buy and sell goods such as textiles, spices, and precious stones. The city's famous Grand Bazaar, which was established in the 15th century, was one of the largest and most vibrant marketplaces in the world, with thousands of shops and stalls selling everything from carpets to jewelry. As we explore this era, we are struck by the sheer scale and grandeur of Istanbul's architecture, from the soaring minarets of the Blue Mosque to the imposing walls of the Yenikile fortress. The city was a testament to the engineering and artistic skills of the Ottomans, who were able to blend different styles and influences to create something truly unique and breathtaking. Join us next as we explore the final chapter in the history of Istanbul, from the decline of the Ottoman Empire to the modern-day metropolis that it is today, and discover how this incredible city has continued to evolve and thrive over the centuries. Welcome back to our historical journey, dear listeners, as we continue to explore the fascinating tale of the history of Istanbul, from Byzantium to the Ottoman Empire. As we delve into this era, we find ourselves in the 19th and 20th centuries, with the Ottoman Empire facing significant challenges, including internal strife, external pressures, and the rise of nationalist movements. The empire's decline was marked by a series of wars, including the Russo-Turkish War and World War I, which ultimately led to the collapse of the Ottoman state. In 1922, the modern Republic of Turkey was founded by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, who would go on to shape the country's future and transform Istanbul into the vibrant, cosmopolitan city we know today. One of the most significant events in this period was the Turkish War of Independence, which saw the new Turkish government, led by Ataturk, fight against the Allied powers that had occupied Istanbul after World War I. The war ended with the signing of the Treaty of Lausanne in 1923, which recognized Turkey's sovereignty and established its modern borders. As we imagine ourselves walking through the streets of Istanbul during this time, we can almost hear the sound of demonstrations, protests, and patriotic songs filling the air, as the Turkish people fought for their independence and self-determination. The founding of the Republic of Turkey marked a significant turning point in the history of Istanbul, as the city began to undergo rapid modernization and secularization. Ataturk introduced a range of reforms, including the adoption of the Latin alphabet, the establishment of a secular education system, and the promotion of women's rights. These changes had a profound impact on Istanbul, transforming it into a hub of cultural, artistic, and intellectual activity. In the second half of the 20th century, Istanbul experienced rapid urbanization and migration, as people from all over Turkey came to the city in search of work, education, and opportunities. This led to the growth of new neighborhoods, such as Beyoğlu and Cili, which became centers of commerce, entertainment, and nightlife. As we explore this era, we are struck by the sheer diversity and energy of Istanbul's population, with people from different backgrounds, cultures, and identities coming together to create a unique and vibrant urban landscape. Today, Istanbul is a thriving metropolis with a population of over 14 million people and an economy that is driven by finance, tourism, and industry. The city is home to some of the world's most iconic landmarks, including the Hagia Sophia, the Blue Mosque, and the Topkapi Palace, which attract millions of visitors each year. As we conclude our journey through the history of Istanbul, we are reminded of the city's enduring spirit, its ability to adapt and evolve, and its continued relevance as a crossroads of cultures, trade, and ideas. As the Turkish poet Orhan Veli Kanık once said, Istanbul is a city that has been built on the ruins of empires, and it will continue to be built on the ruins of its own past. This quote captures the essence of Istanbul's history, a history that is marked by transformation, renewal, and the blending of different cultures and traditions. As we reflect on our journey through the history of this incredible city, we are left with a deep appreciation for its complexity, its beauty, and its continued relevance in the modern world. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.